On this edition of Jerusalem Dateline, Hezbollah raining down missiles on Haifa and cities in central and northern Israel, while the U.S. continues to push for a ceasefire. Plus, one kibbutz offering temporary shelter to displaced families of Kibbutz Kfar Aza. And just in time for the holidays, checking out Zach's Gifts in the Old City and Artza Box, which sends you a sampler of Israeli artisan items. All this and more coming up on this edition of Jerusalem Dateline.
Hello and welcome to this edition of Jerusalem Dateline. I'm Chris Mitchell. This week, Hezbollah launched one of its largest barrages against Israel since the beginning of the war. The attacks come as Israel and Hezbollah consider a U.S.-mediated ceasefire proposal.
The barrages sent Israelis in Tel Aviv rushing to bomb shelters and damaged buildings in Haifa and other cities in central Israel. Several Israelis were hurt in the strikes. In Lebanon, the Israeli Defense Forces also kept up their attacks, blasting Hezbollah command centers in Beirut to stop both the rocket barrages and destroy the terror group's ability to wage war. The attacks come as more reports emerge that Israel has agreed to a ceasefire, at least in principle, although there are still reportedly some concerns. The top diplomat of the European Union called for both Hezbollah and Israel to accept one.
We must pressure the Israeli government and maintain the pressure in Hezbollah to accept the U.S. proposal for a ceasefire.
The Middle East Media Research Institute reports a pro-Hezbollah daily Al Amin says a ceasefire would just be the end of the current round in its goal to destroy Israel, and that it would give time for them to rebuild. It wrote, "Honesty compels us to say very calmly that the end of this round of fighting with the enemy does not mean the end of the resistance, and that rebuilding the might of the resistance is the task today. And it will gain momentum in the future and at any point in time."
Thinking about making peace with Hezbollah is, I would say, it's like planting thorns and expecting to see roses. You just can't, especially because Hezbollah is a terrorist organization that swore to destroy Israel.
Middle East analyst Hanania Naftali told CBN News some Israelis believe a premature ceasefire would keep them in danger.
There's one thing that we learned from the Holocaust is that when people threaten with our annihilation, we believe them and we take that seriously. So people outside of Israel, they wouldn't stand for that. So why in the case of Israel, why should we, why are they calling us, to try and solve things diplomatically? I'm sure that America wouldn't tolerate one missile fired at the United States.
And in another major story here in the Middle East, the United Arab Emirates arrested 3 individuals Sunday. It says are suspected of murdering Zvi Kogan, a prominent rabbi in that Gulf nation. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu called it a criminal, anti-Semitic terrorist attack.
The state of Israel will act by all means and bring justice to the murderers and their senders.
Some suspect the murder was an Iranian-backed assassination. On X, Israeli Diaspora Affairs Minister Amichai Chikali said Iran is responsible and that, quote, "It is our duty to overthrow this regime, the root of evil in the Middle East."
The Israeli Security Cabinet is meeting about the possible ceasefire agreement today. Some analysts say White House pressure is behind the deal, but Israel is making it clear, even if there is a ceasefire, they'll go back to war if necessary to protect their citizens. Here's the latest.
Israeli ambassador to the UN, Danny Danon, announced some of the terms of the ceasefire.
It's not going to happen overnight. There will be a few stages, few requirements. The most important condition for us is the withdrawal of Hezbollah north of the Litani. We said it from the beginning, that will be our goal in this war.
Other terms of the deal include Israeli forces to pull out of southern Lebanon within 60 days, Hezbollah forces to retreat north of the Litani River, the Lebanese army and the UN force known as UNIFIL to ensure Hezbollah pulls out, a U.S.-led enforcement committee to oversee the ceasefire. According to the agreement, a U.S. letter will guarantee Israel has the freedom to take action in Lebanon if Hezbollah attempts to rebuild its military.
But we're not done yet. Nothing is final until everything is final. We continue to work to try and get an agreement over the line. And we're hopeful we can get one, but we need both of the parties to get to yes.
More than 60,000 Israelis from the Israeli-Lebanese border area still remain away from home after more than a year because of Hezbollah attacks. They may not be able to return for up to 2 months. Former Israeli Defense Forces intelligence officer and founder of the Alma Research Center, Zarit Zahavi, went on Instagram to point out what she sees as the danger in the deal.
But the gap lies with the question of whether Hezbollah will be able to recover or not. After what happened in October 7th, Israelis are not willing to enable Hezbollah to recover. This is not going to happen. We cannot rely on just promises. We need to make sure that Hezbollah is not capable of threatening us and our families over here in the north.
Days before the ceasefire, Hezbollah fired more than 500 rockets and missiles into Israel, damaging several buildings and wounding several Israelis, while sending millions of Israelis to bomb shelters. At the same time, the IDF struck more Hezbollah command centers in Beirut and dozens of other Hezbollah sites throughout Lebanon. However, Internal Security Minister Ben Gvir criticized the agreement on X, since it stopped short of victory. Alex Trayman of the Jewish News Syndicate says the U.S. pressured Israel to accept the deal.
Nobody knows exactly why, when the Biden administration is so close to leaving office, why the pressure has finally gotten to Netanyahu. What is it that the Biden administration is threatening Israel with, aside from potentially allowing a UN Security Council resolution against Israel to pass in the coming weeks? And we don't know what a UN Security resolution could look like at this stage, but apparently the threats are grave enough that Netanyahu is taking them very seriously.
There's a saying in boxing, down but not out. That describes the survivors who lived near Gaza who became homeless on October 7th and the thriving businesses that subsequently collapsed. These people are moving forward. They're in no way out, and thanks in part to help from nearby communities. CBN Middle East correspondent Julie Stahl brings us this inspiring story.
As Israel continues to fight its enemies, its people and their supporters are banding together to rebuild and move forward. Here at Kibbutz Ruhamma, they're building a place for some 80 families from Kfar Aza, one of the hardest hit communities on October 7th. They'll be able to live here for a couple of years until Kfar Aza is rebuilt and ready to receive them.
Kakal decided to build the new neighborhood, the new neighborhood for the citizens of Kfar Aza, and Kakal built here this team, Kibbutz Ruhamma.
Shariel Gon heads fundraising for Keren Kayemet LeYisrael, or KKL, also known as the Jewish National Fund, which has helped support Jewish settlements for more than 100 years.
This is part of the things that Kakal is doing for Hotef Aza, to the south, to the periphery of Israel.
The organization recently brought some 300 donors here to see the situation and meet the people. They also joined together for a finale they called Seeds of Hope, a tribute event for the Western Negev, the general area attacked on October 7th.
We are launching many projects for the rehabilitation of the Hotef Aza, of the Western Negev, and afterwards, of course, it will be also in the north, as for the difficult and complicated situation. We are praying for a better year and for the returning safe of 101 kidnapped hostages in Gaza, and for the safety of our IDF, the soldiers.
Yuval Yeni believes Israel has only one option.
Unfortunately, it's taking too much time, but finally we'll win the war, and everyone will have to understand that we don't have any option but to live here safely with our neighbors.
Hungarian Kobe David leads the Central Europe part of the fund and says his country stands with Israel.
Despite the challenging times that the state of Israel has faced and the people of Israel faced, I'm confident that we will overcome it. will come out strengthened, more united, and going to serve as a testimony for the generations to come.
Visitors from around the world attended this closing festival as small business owners from the Gaza border communities shared their products and stories. Several years ago, Or Shukron decided to follow her dream and opened the Oreos coffee shop in Kibbutz Erez, where she still lives.
1 month and a half before October 7, I opened the second coffee in Sderot, near the police station that was destroyed in October 7. So it was terrible. I was in the kibbutz in October 7 with my husband. We succeeded to run away just in the night.
Shukron returned in August and has reopened her coffee shop in the kibbutz and will soon reopen the one in Sderot.
My vision is to be in all the world, like Starbucks, like McDonald's. I want Oreos in all the big cities in the world.
14 years ago, CBN News interviewed Yaron Bob in his studio in Moshav Yated, close to the Gaza Strip. Even then, he transformed terrorist rockets into roses.
I'm turning rockets into sculptures, from darkness into light.
On October 7th, their community lost power and all communication for more than 30 hours, and Bob found evidence of terrorist activity in his backyard. Still, he's hopeful for the future.
We want to live in peace and harmony. We don't want war. The Hamas and Hezbollah, they want war because they're getting money from Iran. Until they're going to stop funding the terrorists, then they will see that the only choice is to live in coexistence.
Gadi Yarkoni heads the Eshkol Regional Council and oversees many of the ravaged communities.
We think about the 7th of October every day on one hand, and on the other hand, we think about the hope of continuing. What bothers us is the hostages.
Yarkoni has no doubt people will rebuild the houses, although resurrecting community life will take more time. He praises the support received from Christians.
The most important thing is A, that the hostages will return, and B, after this, we need to remember the mission is long. The mission won't finish in a year. We're here to stay, but we need you to stay with us for many years and come see us, help us, and hug us. The hug is very important.
Julie Stahl, CBN News, Kibbutz Ruhamma, the Western Negev.
One way people are showing support for Israel right now is through the pocketbook. Our next two stories highlight two Israeli businesses still standing despite the effects of the war. They reflect the heartbeat of Israel, family businesses, and may have something of interest for people looking for Christmas and Hanukkah gifts.
Zach Mishriki is the owner of Zach's Jerusalem Gifts, and he says the war has been devastating to businesses in the Holy Land.
First of all, I cannot say other than God is good and His mercy endures forever, but it has been very rough. It has been very, very difficult.
Because it's been so difficult, Zach knows many Christians who are leaving.
Many Christians are leaving, more and more. Lots of people are just like packing their bags, and especially this time, like the whole world is opening the doors of asylum. Many people are just packing their bags and leaving. And we try to tell them, no, wait.
It's why Zach has two goals.
And number one is to maintain Christian families and maintain Christians to live here. A few years back, we had COVID, and now we're in a war. And it's a long war to hit economy, and Christian families and Christians, get no reason to stay here more, other than leaving to somewhere else. We understand the importance of Christians to stay here, those who love Him and share His goodness, in order to bring both sons of Abraham and be ushers for them and bring them to peace and bring them to know God better and understand Christ.
Zach's second goal is seen throughout his shop.
We produce and make gifts that are influenced of the Bible and Bible-based, like Holy Family, nativities, like lamps, and many Christian and biblical concepts are put into art in prices that are affordable and are able to be shipped from Israel to people outside to have a gift from Jerusalem, a Christian gift.
These Christian gifts are produced by Christian families who make their living by selling to Zach.
I have at least 9 Christian families who work with me and produce things and have better income, and better food in these difficult times. Especially this year, the airport has been blocked. No tourists are coming, no tourists are coming out, so people have zero income. Through this business, people are having better income and we're allowing them to stay here and have a decent income and decent life.
Zach reaches a worldwide audience through his website, one of the biggest Christian websites in Jerusalem. He believes it's important for Christians to stay in the Holy Land, the cradle of Christianity.
I 100% believe that one of the most important thing is Christians here can influence the both sides with forgiveness in order to start all over again. I know people from both sides, and I know that the bitterness and the unforgiveness is growing in their hearts, and we know the bitterness and the unforgiveness where it leads to. So we try to let people focus, that on God and tell them like God is good, God wants us to forgive, and we just try to let them see God better.
Zach has a message for Christians in the West.
My message to the West is, I live in a place where people do not understand Christmas. They don't understand the Prince of Peace. Be thankful that there is forgiveness in your tradition, in your culture, in your church, and in your homes. It means a lot. If you don't have it, you're so blessed just having the influence of Christ and the Prince of Peace be born in your homes, be born in your hearts, be born in your culture and work. It is a big, big, big blessing, just like having the Prince of Peace live in your mindset. Forgiving. This is my message. Be thankful for Christ being born in your families. There's other people in the whole world don't have it. It's a big blessing.
And Zach says it's important to pray for the people of the region.
This country, do not neglect it. Do not forget it. This is be my message. Just show him love. People in this country need love.
If you'd like to order gifts from Zach, you can go to Zach'sJerusalemGifts.com. And if you tell him you're from CBN, you can get a 20% discount.
Welcome back to Jerusalem Dateline, and here in our studio is Itai Schimmel. We've done this for many years, and we're excited to have you back. And first, tell us what Artza is. You're the founder.
It's great to be back. So Artza was a company we set up 4.5 years ago during COVID, and the mission was to support small businesses and artisans and charities here in Israel. So especially those who are suffering because there's no tourism or they need our extra help. That was why we set up Artza. And at the same time was to allow people from home to experience the Holy Land, to experience the land of the Bible in a way that's meaningful and immersive and tangible and something that they can share with all the family.
And this is a seasonal box. This is last season. Yeah. This is for fall, but this is a special box for this season.
That's right. So every 3 months you receive a box. That's the last ones. This is the Christmas box, which is shipping out right now. So anyone who orders it should receive it within up to 7 days or so. And
quickly, how can they get one if they want one?
They go to our website, www.artzabox.com, so ARTZABOX. And there's also a special discount for CBN viewers, which is CBN15, for a 15% discount on the entire website. So everything you see here comes inside the box, and it will come at a 15% discount as well.
Great. So tell us what they're going to receive.
Yeah, of course. So this box, because of the war, we wanted to find ways to support artisans who have really suffered as a result of the war. So it's been 14 months. There's been almost no tourism. We thought that our mission in COVID was really important. It feels like what we're doing now is even more important than it was back then, and the need is even greater. So there's one of the artisans I want to highlight is this wonderful couple who they're called Daria and Ofek, they are survivors of the October 7 massacre. So they were there at the Nova Music Festival on the morning of the October 7, and they ran away. They escaped. They hid in one of the bunkers, and then they had a feeling that it wasn't a safe place, and then they continued fleeing. Turned out that everyone who was in that bunker was actually killed on that day. Wow. And they are a wonderful couple. Their company, which is called Ahava Stones, their mission is how can they bring comfort and inspiration and light into people's homes and lives through words. So they take Jerusalem stone, so this is real Jerusalem stone, and they inscribe different sentences and phrases onto the stones. And it's really beautiful. You can hold it.
Which one? What does this say?
And this is B'ktei ha'or yesh od or, which in English means at the edge of light, there's always more light. And it's a sentence to give hope and inspiration that even when times seem tough and dark, there's always a bit more light. And after a year like now in Israel, it feels like it's a very powerful piece to have.
What else are we going to see?
We have, there's always got to be some snack, something tasty and sweet. So we have these chocolate date balls, which are delicious, which come from this farmer up north. And then we have these, this is a potato spice blend. It comes from a third-generation farmer who lives in the Galilee. The most wonderful family. And they make different herb and spice blends from local herbs, all grown in Israel. So you have that. And there's also a recipe card inside this booklet.
Right,
so you can learn how to use them. Another artisan we're really grateful we're able to help is, his name is Danny, and he comes from the city of Safed, which is in northern Israel, in the Galilee. And as you know, they've had missiles raining down on them from Hezbollah for over a year now. So they've had almost no tourism. He relies on tourism for his business. So we're really happy we're able to work with them. And he made these beautiful hand-dipped natural beeswax candles. They smell really delicious, and they're really beautiful. We have a mosaic set from a wonderful artist called Erez. Now, he's very passionate about ancient archaeology, and in Israel, as you know, land of the Bible, there is no shortage of archaeology. So he created this mosaic set where you can create the Star of David, or there's many different other things that you can create as well. And it comes with all the stones and with a little packet of cement and instructions how to use it, and you can make this set at home. We have some creams from a company up north as well. And we have this delicious, it's like a winter fruit infusion.
Well, that sounds like a great seasonal.
Yeah, this is perfect for the winter. And it has cranberries, pineapple, apple. Everything here comes inside the Christmas box. And there's also, I think it's one of the most important parts, is this tells you about the stories of all the artists, who they are, what they've been through in the past year, how you're helping and supporting them. There's also recipes. You can also learn some Hebrew. It tells you about the holiday of Christmas and the importance of it and the relation and, what happened here in Israel.
This is such a great concept. I mean, not only linking people to the Holy Land, but especially now during the war when so many of these artisans need the help. And so again, how can people find out about Artza?
So they can go to our website, artzabox.com, ARTZABOX.com, and there's a 15% discount for all the viewers of CBN, CBN15 at checkout, and you get a 15% discount on this entire box. And like I said, it should arrive within 7 days. So if people order it now, it arrives well before Christmas. You can gift it to, it's intentional that it's something for the entire family to enjoy, no matter what the age is. And we're excited for people to connect and to receive it and to support and kind of really join the Artza community.
It's a great gift idea. Well, that's all for this edition of Jerusalem Dateline. Thanks for joining us. Remember to follow us on social media, and you can access CBN content through our CBN News and other CBN apps. And don't forget to sign up for our email blast for information on breaking news. And please keep praying for Israel, for the IDF soldiers and all those caught in harm's way, and for the hostages in Gaza to come home. I'm Chris Mitchell. For all of us here at the Jerusalem Bureau, we'll see you next time on Jerusalem Dateline.